Taiwan Kim stared at his screen in disbelief. The small blue planet spinning on his display couldn't be right. According to his readings, the world was filled with creatures that should not exist in any civilized part of space. "Senior researcher, you need to see this," he called out to his alien superior, a tall being with silvery skin who moved like flowing water. The alien glided across the research station's polished floor and leaned over Taiwan's shoulder. Its eyes widened, all 6 of them. "Impossible," it whispered. "No single planet should have this many Class 4 biological hazards." Taiwan pulled up more images on his screen. "Look at this one," he said, pointing to a small, colorful creature. "The locals call it a blue-ringed octopus. It's smaller than my hand, but its venom could kill 50 of our people." The alien backed away from the screen. Taiwan couldn't help but smile a little. He had been working with the Galactic Council's research team for 3 years now, helping them map unknown worlds. But this was the first time he'd seen real fear in his superior's eyes. "And that's not even the worst," Taiwan continued, switching to another image. "This is a box jellyfish. It lives in their oceans. And here," he pulled up another picture, "this is called a black mamba. It can move faster than some of our ground vehicles." More aliens gathered around his station now. Their silvery skin had taken on a pale, sickly tone. Taiwan knew they were seeing what he saw, a world that broke all their rules about what was safe and normal. "But the strangest part," he said, saving his biggest surprise for last, "is that humans live there. They've built cities. They've made a civilization. Look." The images changed to show human cities, beaches full of swooning people, and nature parks. The aliens watched in horror as they saw humans calmly existing in what they could only see as a death trap. "How?" one of the younger aliens asked. "How do they survive?" Taiwan pulled up more data. "They've adapted. They've learned. They've created medicines from the very things that could kill them. They keep these creatures in special places called zoos and research facilities. They study them. And sometimes," he paused for effect, "they keep them as pets." The word pets had to be explained 3 times before the aliens understood. When they finally did, 2 of them had to leave the room. "Researcher Kim," his superior said finally, "this planet, Earth, it needs to be classified immediately. Category 1 Deathworld status. No regular civilian travel permitted. The risk is too high." But Taiwan wasn't listening anymore. He was looking at something else now. Research papers from Earth. Papers about how snake venom was being used to make life-saving medicines, about how cone snail toxins could block pain better than any known drug, about how spider venom might help treat brain diseases. "Sir," he said slowly, "I don't think we should be asking how dangerous this world is. I think we should be asking ourselves what we could learn from it." His superior looked at him like he had gone mad. But Taiwan didn't care. He could already see the possibilities. Where his alien colleagues saw monsters, he saw a gold mine of medical breakthroughs. Where they saw death and danger, he saw opportunity. He started typing his report, but not the one they expected. This would be a different kind of report, one that didn't just list dangers, but possibilities. One that might change how the galaxy saw Earth and its deadly creatures. After all, he thought, sometimes the most dangerous things in life could also be the most valuable. The aliens around him might not understand that yet, but they would. Soon, the whole galaxy would. Hae-Nul Park sat in her office on the top floor of Biocore Pharmaceuticals, reading the government email for the 5th time. First contact. Aliens. A whole galactic community out there. But what made her lean forward in her chair wasn't the news about aliens. It was their reaction to Earth. "They're afraid of our animals," she said to herself, a smile spreading across her face. She looked at the small tank on her desk, where a cone snail moved slowly through the water. Most people would never keep such a dangerous creature as an office pet, but Hae-Nul wasn't most people. She pressed the button on her desk. "Get me Do Gyun Lee from research right now." 10 minutes later, A young man in a lab coat rushed into her office, nearly dropping his tablet. "Miss Park, you wanted to see me." "Sit down, Do-hyun," she said, pointing to the chair across from her desk. "Have you read the government briefing about our new alien friends?" He nodded quickly. "Yes, they're calling Earth a death world. They think we're crazy for living here." Hanul stood up and walked to her office window. Seoul's skyline stretched out before her, modern buildings reaching up into the clear blue sky. "Tell me, Do-hyun, what's in Lab 7 right now?" "The spider venom research. We have about 50 different species we're studying for possible medical applications. The Brazilian wandering spider looks particularly promising for." "And Lab 3?" she interrupted. "That's the snake venom lab. We've got samples from 20 different species of vipers alone, plus the modified cobra venom project." Hanul turned back to face him. "And these aliens, they think these creatures are too dangerous to even go near. They're terrified of a single spider." She walked over to her desk and turned her computer screen so Do-hyun could see it. "Look at their medical technology. It's amazing in some ways, but in others, they're far behind us. They've never even thought of using venom as medicine." Do-hyun's eyes widened as he read the screen. "They don't have anything like our pain medications or blood pressure drugs." "No," Hanul said, "because they never had to deal with creatures that could kill them with a single bite. They never had to learn how to turn poison into medicine." She tapped the cone snail tank gently. "They don't understand that sometimes the deadliest things in nature can save lives." She walked back to her chair and sat down. "I want you to gather all our research on venom-based medicines, everything we've done, everything we're working on. I want a full report in 2 days." 2 days. Do-hyun looked shocked. "But that's thousands of pages of research." "Then you better start now," Hanul said, "because we're about to change everything. While everyone else is trying to figure out how to trade with aliens, we're going to give them something they've never seen before, something they're too afraid to even think about." Do-hyun stood up, excitement replacing his surprise. "You want to sell them our venom-based medicines?" "Better," Hanul smiled. "I want to show them how to make their own. We'll teach them that the creatures they fear most might hold the cures they need most." She looked at the cone snail again. Every single deadly creature on Earth could be worth more than gold to them. As Do-hyun hurried out to start his work, Hanul opened her computer and began typing. She needed to call a board meeting. She needed to set up new research teams. She needed to contact government officials about export licenses. But most of all, she needed to show the galaxy that Earth's deadliest creatures weren't a curse. They were humanity's greatest gift to the stars. Where aliens saw monsters, she saw medicine. Where they saw death, she saw life. And she was going to prove it to them, one deadly species at a time. Do-hyun Lee stood at the edge of the rainforest, checking his collection gear one last time. Behind him, 3 aliens watched from what they considered a safe distance, about half a kilometer away. He could barely see their silvery forms through his binoculars when he turned to look. "Ready to go?" he asked his team. The 4 other humans with him nodded, adjusting their protective suits. They didn't really need the suits, but Hanul had insisted they wear them. "It makes the aliens feel better," she had said, "and it looks more professional." They entered the forest, following their guide. Today's target was the Brazilian wandering spider. The aliens had almost fainted when they learned humans were going to deliberately look for what they called the walking death. "Movement at 2 o'clock, one of his team members whispered. Do-hyun turned slowly, his eyes scanning the trees. There it was, a large spider, exactly what they were looking for. "Beautiful," he said softly, taking out his collection container. The spider was bigger than his hand, its legs moving with deadly grace across the bark. Through his radio, he could hear the aliens talking to each other in panicked voices. They were watching through cameras on the team's suits. "Is it not attacking?" one alien asked. "They don't usually attack unless threatened," Du Hyun explained calmly as he positioned the container. Like most creatures, they prefer to be left alone. With practiced skill, he guided the spider into the container and sealed it. "Specimen 1 secured," he announced. The aliens fell silent, probably still trying to understand how he could be so calm. Back at the mobile lab they'd set up at the forest's edge, Du Hyun carefully extracted venom from the spider. The aliens had moved closer now, curiosity slowly winning over fear. "This small amount of venom," he explained, holding up a tiny vial, "could help us create new treatments for heart problems." He looked at the nearest alien. "Your species has trouble with heart arrhythmia, right?" The alien's silvery skin rippled, their version of a nod. "Many of our people die from it each year." "Well," Du Hyun smiled, "this walking death might help save them." Over the next few hours, his team collected 5 more spiders. Each time, the aliens moved a little closer to watch. By the end of the day, one of them was only 50 meters away. "I don't understand," the bravest alien said as they packed up their equipment. "Our scans show that this venom could kill in minutes. How can you be so calm?" Du Hyun thought about it while he carefully stored the venom samples. "Have you ever seen a human hospital?" he asked. The alien shook its head. "In our hospitals, we use many things that could kill. Strong drugs, radiation, sharp tools. But in the right hands, with the right knowledge, these dangerous things save lives." He patted the case containing the spider venom. "Nature's deadliest creatures gave us our first medicines. They taught us how to heal." The alien moved closer, just a little. "Your species is very strange," it said. "You don't run from dangerous things. You study them." "Better to understand something than fear it," Du Hyun replied. He checked his phone. A message from Haenul. The first batch of modified cobra venom had passed all safety tests. They were ready to begin alien trials. As they loaded their equipment into the trucks, Du Hyun noticed one of the aliens taking pictures of a spider web. Its fear wasn't gone, but something new had taken root: curiosity. That night, as he sent his report to Haenul, he added a special note: "The aliens are starting to understand. They're beginning to see what we see. Not monsters, but possibilities. Not danger, but hope." He looked at the venom samples sitting safely in their container. Tomorrow they would study scorpions. The aliens would watch again and maybe move a little closer. Step by step, spider by spider, they would learn what humans had learned long ago: that sometimes the cure lies within the very things we fear most. Ji-Won Choi walked onto the stage of the Galactic Trade Center, carrying a small black box. 500 aliens of different species sat in the audience, all watching her with a mix of fear and curiosity. This was Earth's first major product launch in the galactic market, and everything had to be perfect. "Good morning," she said, her words being translated into 20 different languages. "Today, BioCore Pharmaceuticals is proud to present something that will change medicine across the galaxy." She opened the black box and took out a small vial filled with clear liquid. The aliens in the front row leaned away. They all knew what was in that vial: modified cobra venom. "This," Ji-Won held up the vial, "is Pain-Free X. It's the strongest pain medicine ever created, and it works on every known species in the galaxy." She put the vial in a display case where everyone could see it. "And yes, it comes from one of Earth's deadliest snakes." The room filled with worried whispers. Ji-Won had expected this. She pressed a button, and the large screen behind her lit up with a video. 3 months ago, we tested Pain-Free X on 50 volunteer patients from different species. All of them had chronic pain that no other medicine could help. The video showed aliens in hospital beds, clearly suffering. "Watch what happened when we gave them our medicine." The audience watched in silence as the patients in the video began to improve. They saw aliens getting out of bed, moving without pain, some of them crying with joy. "Every single patient got better," Ji-Won said. "No side effects, no complications, Just pain relief, better than anything currently available in the galaxy. She smiled. And this is just the beginning. She walked across the stage, pulling up more images on the screen. Right now, we're working with blue-ringed octopus venom to create a cure for nerve damage. We're using modified spider venom to treat heart problems. We're even studying box jellyfish toxin as a possible cure for genetic diseases. The whispers in the room had changed now. They weren't fearful anymore. They were excited. But we're not just here to sell medicine, Jai-1 continued. We want to teach you. We want to show you how to safely study these creatures yourselves, how to turn what you fear into tools for healing. Hae-Nul Park, who had been watching from backstage, smiled as she saw the aliens' reactions. They were starting to understand. Jai-1 held up another vial. This is our second product, Antigen Universal. It can cure any venomous bite or sting from any Earth creature. She paused. We're including a free supply with every research package we sell. Safety first, after all. That got a laugh from the audience. The tension in the room was gone now. The price for one dose of pain-free X, Jai-1 announced, is 1,000 galactic credits. She waited for the gasps of surprise to die down. It was expensive, but she knew they would pay it. And for the first 100 buyers, we're including a complete safety training course and handling protocols. Hands and tentacles shot up across the room. Everyone wanted to be among the first 100. After the presentation, Jai-1 found Hae-Nul backstage. They're fighting over who gets to buy it first, she said, grinning. The Galactic Medical Board wants to order 1 million doses. Hae-Nul nodded, watching the excited aliens through the curtain. They're not afraid anymore, she said. They're finally seeing what we see. And this is just the first product, Jai-1 added. Wait until they see what we can do with scorpion venom. Outside, the line of aliens waiting to place orders stretched around the building. Earth's deadliest creatures were about to become the galaxy's most valuable medicine, and everyone wanted a piece of it. The age of Earth's poison pioneers had begun. Su-Bin Kang stood on the beach, watching the swarm of box jellyfish float by in the clear water. Behind her, a team of researchers worked in a floating lab, while alien investors watched through safety glass. Her company, Ocean Cure Labs, was about to change the game. As you can see, she said to the aliens, our special nets can catch the jellyfish without harming them. She pointed to the large tanks where captured jellyfish swam. Each one of these creatures contains enough bioactive compounds to treat hundreds of patients. One of the aliens, a tall being with blue scales, pressed closer to the glass. BioCore already sells jellyfish-based medicines. Why should we invest in your company? Su-Bin smiled. She had been waiting for this question. She walked over to a computer and pulled up some charts. BioCore uses their jellyfish toxins for pain management, she explained. But we found something much more interesting. She showed them a video of damaged alien nerve tissue healing itself after treatment. Our jellyfish compound can regrow nerve cells in every species we've tested. The aliens moved closer to the screen, their eyes wide. Even from space, they could see the massive medical facilities that had sprung up along Earth's coasts in the past year. Every major pharmaceutical company was now hunting for new creatures to study. BioCore may have opened the market, Su-Bin continued, but they don't own Earth's oceans. We've already found 3 new jellyfish species with unique compounds. She pointed to a special tank where a small, strange-looking jellyfish pulsed with a faint blue light. That one there. Its toxin might be the key to extending alien lifespans by 50 years. The alien investors chittered excitedly among themselves. One of them, the group's leader, turned to Su-Bin. How soon can you begin production? Before she could answer, her phone buzzed. It was news about BioCore. They had just announced a new medicine made from stonefish venom. Su-Bin frowned. The competition was getting fiercer every day. But that was good. Competition meant more research, more discoveries, more breakthroughs. Already, there were 50 human companies working with dangerous creatures. each finding new ways to use Earth's deadly wildlife to heal the galaxy. "We can start initial production next month," she told the investors. "But first, let me show you our sea snake collection facility." As they walked along the beach toward another building, Subin saw a biocore ship far out at sea. She waved to them. They might be competitors, but they were all part of something bigger. Earth's reputation was changing. Where aliens once saw a death world, they now saw a planet of healing. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was her research team. They had found something new in the deep ocean, a kind of venomous snail that could help treat alien brain diseases. Subin quickly typed back, telling them to secure specimens right away. "Is everything okay?" one of the alien investors asked, noticing her excitement. "Better than okay," she replied. "We just found something that could make our jellyfish medicine look simple." She pointed to the ocean. "There are millions of species out there that we haven't even studied yet. Every day we find new creatures with new compounds that could save lives." The aliens looked out at the vast ocean, finally seeing it the way humans did, not as a place of danger, but as an endless source of possibilities. Back in her office that evening, Subin looked at the latest market reports. Earth's pharmaceutical exports had grown by 500% in the past year. Every dangerous creature they studied led to new treatments, new cures, new hope for species across the galaxy. The competition might be fierce, but the ocean was big enough for everyone. After all, there were still so many monsters to study, so many toxins to understand, so many lives to save. And somewhere out there, waiting to be discovered, was the next big breakthrough. Li Junsong walked through his newest facility, a massive indoor habitat filled with carefully controlled environments. Behind him, a group of worried alien environmental officials followed at what they considered a safe distance. Above them, in a special viewing area, representatives from major pharmaceutical companies watched with interest. "As you can see," Yi Jun said, pointing to a large terrarium, "we've recreated the perfect environment for inland taipans." Through the glass, they could see several of the highly venomous snakes moving through artificial grassland. "This is the future of sustainable venom farming." One of the alien officials raised a hand. "You're saying you want to breed these creatures on purpose?" Yi Jun nodded. "We have to. The demand for Earth's venoms is growing too fast. We can't keep taking animals from the wild." He led them to another section where rows of special tanks held blue-ringed octopuses. "Every creature here is part of a careful breeding program." The aliens whispered among themselves. The idea of deliberately breeding Earth's deadliest animals seemed crazy to them. But they couldn't argue with the numbers Yi Jun showed them next. Last year, Earth exported enough venom-based medicines to treat 50 billion patients, he explained, showing them the data on a large screen. This year, the demand is twice that. If we don't start breeding programs now, some species might go extinct. Hae-Nul Park, who had come to see the facility, spoke up from the viewing area. "How many species can you breed here?" "Right now, we have 30 different species of snakes, 15 types of spiders, 12 species of scorpions, and various marine creatures," Yi Jun answered. "By next year, we'll double that number." He led them to his pride and joy, a massive section dedicated to spider breeding. Through large windows, they could see researchers in protective gear carefully collecting venom from rows of spider habitats. Each spider had its own space, designed to match its natural environment perfectly. "The spiders are actually the easiest to breed," Yi Jun explained. "They're very adaptable." The hard part was convincing people that breeding more dangerous creatures was a good idea. One of the alien officials, braver than the others, moved closer to look at a spider. "And they're happy here." Yi Jun smiled. "They're thriving. Our breeding pairs produce healthy offspring, and the venom quality is exactly the same as wild specimens." He checked some readings on a nearby monitor. "In fact, some are doing better here than in the wild." He showed them the next section, where baby snakes were being raised. Every creature here is tagged and tracked. We know their lineage, their venom productivity, their health status. It's completely sustainable. The pharmaceutical representatives were taking notes. They could see the potential, a steady, reliable supply of the valuable venoms they needed, without harming wild populations. But what about safety? Another alien asked, keeping so many dangerous creatures in one place. Yi Jun pressed a button, and a hologram appeared showing all the facility's safety systems. Triple-layered containment, constant monitoring, emergency protocols for every scenario. It's actually safer than collecting from the wild. He led them to the research center, where scientists studied ways to improve breeding success and venom production. We're not just breeding them, he explained. We're learning about them. Every day, we discover new things about these species that help us protect them better. At the end of the tour, even the worried aliens seemed impressed. They could see that this wasn't just about making money. It was about protecting Earth's unique wildlife while helping the galaxy. Next month, Yi Jun told them, we start breeding box jellyfish. The medical companies need more than we can sustainably collect from the ocean. He looked proudly at his facility. This is how we balance progress with protection. The galaxy gets its medicine, and Earth keeps its monsters. As the group left, Yi Jun checked on a newly hatched clutch of snake eggs. In their own way, these creatures were helping to build bridges between worlds. They were teaching the galaxy that even the most feared things had value, had a place, had a purpose. The monsters were becoming a legacy worth protecting. Mei Rayun adjusted her camera as she watched the strange scene before her. A group of alien tourists, wearing special protective suits, were taking pictures with a safely contained king cobra at the new Venom World theme park. Just 2 years ago, these same aliens wouldn't even look at pictures of Earth's dangerous creatures. And here we have our spider exhibition, the tour guide said, leading the group to a large glass dome. Inside, different species of spiders had built webs in a controlled environment. The aliens pressed close to the glass, their fear now mixed with fascination. Mireille recorded everything. As an anthropologist studying how Earth's dangerous animals were changing alien cultures, she found these tours especially interesting. "Excuse me," she called to one of the alien tourists, a tall being with crystal-like skin. "Would you mind telling me why you chose to visit Earth?" The alien turned to her, its crystalline form catching the light. "My daughter was cured by spider venom medicine last year," it said. "She wanted to see where it came from. Now she wants to be a scientist and work with Earth creatures." Mary smiled as she wrote this down. She had heard many similar stories lately. Young aliens were growing up seeing Earth's dangerous creatures differently than their parents did. She moved to another part of the park where a demonstration was taking place. A human handler was showing how they safely collected venom from a blue-ringed octopus. The alien audience watched with a mix of terror and amazement. "Remember," the handler said, "every drop of venom we collect here helps make medicines that save lives across the galaxy." She held up a small vial of clear liquid. "This small amount can treat 100 patients." Myre checked her notes. In the past month alone, 50 alien universities had started programs to study Earth's dangerous species. Alien medical students were coming to Earth to learn about venom-based treatments. Some brave alien scientists were even starting to work in human labs. Her phone buzzed with a message. The Galactic Council was planning to change Earth's classification from Death World to Medical Resource World. It was a big change that showed how much things had shifted. She walked to the park's newest attraction, the touch pool. Here, under careful supervision, aliens could touch safe sea creatures like starfish and hermit crabs. It was a small step, but an important one. Learning to touch harmless Earth creatures helped aliens overcome their fear of Earth's wildlife. "Would you like to touch a starfish?" a handler asked a young alien child who was watching the pool with big eyes. The child looked at its parents, who nodded encouragingly. Slowly, carefully, the child reached out and touched the starfish. Its face lit up with joy. "It doesn't hurt," the child exclaimed. It's nice. Myray recorded this moment too. These small interactions were changing how aliens saw Earth and its life forms. Fear was turning into curiosity, and curiosity was becoming understanding. Later that day, she visited the park's research center. Scientists from 20 different alien worlds were working there, studying Earth creatures and developing new medicines. On one wall, a large screen showed a map of all the lives saved by Earth's venom-based medicines. The number was in the billions now. What fascinates you most about Earth's dangerous creatures? She asked one alien researcher who was studying scorpion venom. The alien thought for a moment. That something so deadly can heal, it said. On my world, we avoid anything dangerous, but humans find ways to turn danger into hope. It's changing how we think about everything. Myray finished her day's notes with a simple observation. Earth's monsters were building bridges between worlds. They were teaching the galaxy that sometimes the scariest things could do the most good. As she left the park, she saw a group of alien children wearing t-shirts with pictures of spiders on them. Times had really changed. Earth's monsters weren't monsters anymore. They were teachers, healers, and bridges between worlds. 5 years after first contact, the Galactic Trade Center looked very different. Where there had once been empty halls and nervous aliens, now there were busy crowds studying displays of Earth's most dangerous creatures. Haenyul Park and Taiwan Kim stood at the center of it all, watching their dream become reality. Remember when they wouldn't even look at pictures of these animals? Haenyul asked, pointing to a large tank where a blue-ringed octopus swam peacefully. A group of alien children pressed their faces against the glass, taking pictures with their devices. Taiwan nodded, thinking back to those first days when the aliens had called Earth a death world. Now the same aliens were lining up to buy Earth's medicines, visit its wildlife parks, and learn about its dangerous creatures. Miss Park, a young alien called out, running up to them. It was wearing a white coat with the BioCore Company logo. The new spider venom treatment worked. All test subjects showed full recovery. Haenyul smiled at the alien scientist. 5 years ago, no alien would have dreamed of working with Earth's venomous creatures. Now there were thousands of alien researchers in Earth's laboratories, learning to see beauty in what they once feared. They walked through the trade center, passing booth after booth. Every major Earth company was there, showing their latest discoveries. Subin's Ocean Cure Labs had a huge display of jellyfish, floating in special tanks. Yi Jun's breeding facility was showing live video feeds of their newest successful breeding programs. At one booth, Ji-won was teaching a group of alien medical students about snake venom extraction. The students watched carefully, taking notes, no longer afraid but eager to learn. "Look at this," Taiwan said, pointing to a large screen on the wall. It showed the number of lives saved by Earth's venom-based medicines in the past 5 years. The number had 11 zeros in it. A small alien child tugged at Haenyul's sleeve. "Can I pet the spider?" it asked, pointing to a safely contained tarantula in a special touching area. Its parents stood nearby, nervous but supportive. "Of course," Haenyul said, guiding the child's hand. "Gentle now. See, it's not scary at all." The child's eyes widened with wonder as it touched the spider's soft fur. "It's beautiful," the child whispered. Myray was there too, recording everything for her research. She had just published a book about how Earth's dangerous creatures had changed alien society. It was already a bestseller across the galaxy. "The latest survey results are in," she told Haenyul and Taiwan. 70% of alien species now see Earth's wildlife as valuable instead of frightening, and 90% say they would use Earth's medicines if they needed them. They reached the main stage, where Do-hyun was about to announce their newest breakthrough, a cure for a deadly alien disease made from a mix of cone snail and spider venoms. The room was packed with aliens eager to hear about it. "It's amazing," Taiwan said quietly to Haenyul. "We didn't just change medicine. We changed how they see the universe." Hanul watched as more alien children gathered around the spider exhibit. We showed them that fear can turn to hope, that danger can become safety, that monsters can become miracles. Above them, the giant screen showed images from Earth: snakes, spiders, jellyfish, octopuses, all the creatures that had once terrified the galaxy. But now each image was paired with pictures of smiling aliens who had been healed by these creatures' venoms. The galaxy called Earth a death world, the screen read. We showed them it was a world of healing. As Hanul watched the crowds of aliens and humans working together, learning from each other, she knew they had built something amazing. Earth's monsters had become bridges between worlds, teachers of hope, healers of the galaxy. The death world had become the life world. And this was just the beginning.